to become everybody's favorite exercise, I think. When they come to practice with us and they start getting this one down, it's such an exhilarating thing to feel like you're turning your bike and you're in command of it, and you're holding your turns, and you're in control of when you turn the handlebars and transition. So why do the double offset serpentine? It's going to give you the ability to really turn your handlebars comfortably, okay? This is called transitioning your handlebars. And when you go from side to side and you're leaning a little bit, what that is something people don't like to do, okay? So most new riders and many experienced riders do not like to turn their handlebars and do not like to lean their bikes. Okay, this drill will help you get over that. Yay, exercise 8. We're all the way to exercise 8. So if you have been watching my Drilling In on the Drill series, you know I've gone from exercise 1 all the way through exercise 7. A lot of times I read things about people wanting to get over their anxiety or their fear of their motorcycle, which is the whole reason for this channel, is to fear the motorcycle less. Well, the only way you're going to fear your motorcycle less is by practicing drills. Practicing in a safe environment in a parking lot is what's going to give you the confidence that you can do it out on the road. So, why double offset? Offset is going to help you manage your space. It's going to help you hold your turns longer. It's going to have you feel comfortable holding your turns longer. It's going to give you the grace and the poise to do U-turns successively back and forth and be able to manage how far that is and how much space you need. It's also going to help you get your clutch control and your throttle control under control. Also in coordination with your rear brake. So throttle in one position at the preload, the light on the rear brake, light on the clutch. A lot of times people go into the clutch too far. So what we're going to do is try and help you break that habit. So this is another reason that doing these types of drills will help you understand how fast is fast and what slow is slow, okay? This is a slow speed drill, but it really does feel like you're going fast sometimes, especially if you're new. So you want to hit that brake really hard. We're going to try and encourage you not to hit the brake really hard and work on managing your clutch control. And you're going to improve that clutch control more and more and more each time you practice this. And it's also about getting yourself comfortable with the lean, okay? So you want to lean opposite to with the way the bike is going. And you want to keep your body weight forward. You want to scooch up in your seat. This is riding position for any slow speed maneuvers. You want to be up as far as you can to the tank, leaning forward so you're over the handlebars and your elbows are bent so that you have maximum grip on both the clutch and the throttle. And when you have that, you're going to start to feel more comfortable with the leaning and tipping and transitioning of the motorcycle. And if that's something that you fear and it's like gives you so much anxiety if your motorcycle tips the slightest bit or you have to turn it, then this drill is going to help you overcome that. And overcoming it is only going to come through practicing it. So it will be scary at first, and you will not feel comfortable doing it at first. But the more you practice it, the more you get better at things. And this is one of them. Well, this is another exercise that you use in the real world. It simulates doing curvy roads and turning your handlebars or having to maneuver around something in the road when you're going a little bit faster than just, 2 miles an hour. So we are going to be in our friction zone the entire time. There's no coasting on this. We're also going to have our handlebars turned the entire time. There's never a time where your handlebars are straight in this exercise. So we're going to be weaving through a series of cones. We've got 8 of them set up. The width of the cones are 6 feet wide, the gates are 6 feet wide, And the distance between each one, I'd say 24 feet. And the depth in between is 15 from each one. So like if you're looking at all 4 in a row, they're 30 feet apart on both sides, but they're offset 15, halfway. So there's 15 feet. Okay. So when we come through this first gate, this is how we want to be angled. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going through the gate, and then we're going to dip to the right. Okay? We're going to dip to the right into that space that's right there. And then we're going to do a U-turn, right? Because this is back-to-back successive U-turns, just like the exercise 7, the figure 8. Only we're going to be traveling while we do it. So it's kind of like ribbon. I always call it ribbon candy. We're going to dip to the right, and then we're going to just do a U-turn. And what we're going to do is when we finish our U-turn, we're going to aim back towards this gate, okay? So come back towards the gate you just left into the space that's between this gate and that gate, okay? So we're going to come back into that space right there, and we're going to do another U-turn. And our U-turn is going to go through that third gate, and again, we're going to look back at the second gate. And we're just going to repeat that over and over and over. But we're going to hold our turns each time because we want, what does that do? It buys us space and time. So when we have, you're rushed if you go straight to the gate to perform a tight U-turn in order to get to the next gate, because you're going to be pushed more and more and more towards the rest of the gates, and you're going to run out of room. But if we use our space wisely and we come around this cone and get into that open area to do our U-turn, come back towards this gate, this open area right here, and you're going to find that you have room to do as many gates as you want. So we're going to get started. Steady clutch into the friction, dip it in, and I'm just light on the brake, but look, I'm in this space. And now I'm going to do a U-turn. Now I'm in this space. Now I'm going to do a U-turn. And I'm in the space. And I'm looking back at the cones I just came from before I make my transition. I'm not going super fast. I got light on the rear brake. I'm not pressing it real hard. Do a U-turn. Come back into the gate, dip, and then look for the gate I just came from. Look at all this space, yay, transition. Look at all this space, yay, transition. Look at all this space, yay, transition. So a lot of times we see people trying to go to these gates and they go here, and then they try to transition here. But what it does is it puts them in this space and then past this gate. Then they can't get through. So we're going to keep our speed steady. We're going to lean forward. Notice my elbow is bent. I'm not going super fast. I'm letting the bike rock underneath me. You can hear me just really not going high into the throttle, just enough. I'm light on the clutch. Clutch is barely open. And I'm very, very lightly dragging the rear brake. I don't even know if my brake lights are on. You can tell me if my brake lights are on. Right, so I'm so light on the brake that I'm not even pressing it enough to get the brake light to come on. And I'm just going into the space. Notice my head and eyes. I'm looking for the space I'm going to ride my motorcycle into. Right? We want to look where we're going. And and the bike just rocks underneath us. And if you're super nervous, leaning forward is going to actually help you. So we're going to go through again. And I'm leaning forward. I'm not going to use the rear brake this time, just to show you that I'm not really using it at all. I would suggest you use the rear brake until you have the clutch control to manage this. But if you find that you're using too much friction between the brake and the clutch, it means you're too far into the clutch. So ease off the clutch a little bit rather than press the brake harder, okay? So you just want to make sure that you really barely into that clutch. Dip it in, go to the space, dip it in. See how the cones don't even affect me because I'm just weaving around. I'm going to hit that cone. But the cones don't even affect me because I'm not looking at the cones. I'm looking at the space I'm riding my bike in. So this simulates, this tends to become everybody's favorite exercise, I think, when they come to practice with us and they start getting this one down. And what we do is we have people, for the first time, they'll go outside these outside cones, right? Because they're really not used to doing tight turns yet and holding their handlebars in a turn and leaning their bike. So we have them go wide around each cone just till they get the pattern. And then as they start regulating their speed, they start going through the cones. And it's such an exhilarating thing to feel like you're turning your bike and you're in command of it. And you're holding your turns and you're in control of when you turn the handlebars and transition. Now the transition speed doesn't have to be fast, especially if you hold your turn far enough. It can be a gradual turn, but what you're working on is speeding that up. So start out with slower turns if you have to, and then work on improving how little brake you use, how little clutch you use. You keep your throttle in the same spot the whole time, and you work on speeding up your transitions. Just speeding them up so you can transition more quickly and more fluidly. And sitting way forward on your seat and leaning forward, okay? So if I'm turning the handlebars this way, I'm not leaning with the bike, okay? I'm over here with this elbow has to be bent. So you want to make sure that this elbow is bent because it gives you maximum control of the throttle. See, if I'm way out here and then I can't regulate my throttle. But if I'm way in here, I've got complete control of my throttle. And if I go this way and I'm over here, I've got complete control of my clutch, okay? So I'm not reaching and then maybe pulling it in too much or letting it out too far because I'm way close to it. I'm super close to my clutch and I can keep it right where it needs to be to make the turns. So you guys work on that, and I want to hear in the comments that you're doing these exercises because it's really going to improve your overall riding experience. And if trips aren't your thing, it's okay, because just going around town is probably more useful for slow speed skills than going on big trips. We wanted to be ready for whatever we encountered when we did our cross-country rides and when we do our cross-country rides. So we practice all these drills so that no matter what happens out there on the road, we can handle it and not have that anxious feeling or nervous, or avoid it altogether. Like so many people ride with the sense of avoiding a number of things. Like we just never do that. We just never do that. We just never do this. Well, what happens if you could just say, we can do it all? That's what these skills bring you. So if you're that kind of rider who wants to be able to have confidence in a parking lot, in a gas station, backing your bike in an area and pulling out safely. These are the different drills that will cover every single thing that you need. So let us know that you're doing it, and we want to hear from you, and we hope it makes a difference, because that's really why we're out here, to have you fearing your motorcycle less so you can enjoy the experience of motorcycling more. People come to our practice sessions once they learn how to do this exercise. They love it because it does give them that feel of when they're in the real world, that you would use this exercise in all practicality. Maybe not, going through gates and there's 8 of them in a row, but when you're in the mountains and you're doing switchbacks, it's a lot of that feeling. And because it's in a controlled environment and you're not going up hills and down hills at the same time and there's not traffic, it gives you the ability to really hone your skills in maneuvering and transitioning your bike and leaning it and having a little bit more speed than we do in the other exercises. So it's a lot of fun, and I really recommend that you set this one up and try it. Of course, we love all the exercises, so we want you to do them all in order because they are progressive, and you'll have a much better time doing exercise 8 after you've done all the other previous ones. If you want the official dimensions of the Be the Boss program, you definitely want to go to the YouTube channel, Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle, and look in the description and get the dimensions of all Robert's exercises. I highly suggest you subscribe to that channel. Become a VI preloader too, because then you can go to Pooler and practice with him, which is hugely helpful. And be part of the Preloader Nation, because that is such an amazing group of people that just really want to be good on their motorcycles, be the boss of their motorcycles, and it's a community that's super supportive of each other. So I highly recommend that as we talk about the Offset Double Serpentine. You're going to hold that U-turn so that when you go through that second gate, you're favoring the outside cone and you're already on the second half of the U-turn. So that's really important in this exercise. You're on the second half of the U-turn when you're going through the gate. Dip it in. Look at the gate you just came from. Dip it in. Look at the gate you just came from. Look at the gate you just came from. Keep the throttle steady. Clutch steady. Light on the rear brake. And out. So to recap the Offset Double Serpentine, we're going to come in at an angle, we're going to look for space, dip it to the right, do our U-turn, look for the gate that we just came through. We're going to keep our clutch in position. I keep it in position 1, to be honest. I'm not high into the clutch at all. So clutch position 1 is just where the grab is. Keep your throttle steady at the preload position the whole time. Don't move your throttle. Light on the rear brake, but you're dragging it, okay? You don't have to press it so it's engaged, but just drag it so it's slightly there in case you need it. And then if you need it, it's really just a light pressure. Turn your head and eyes as you do the U-turn, look for the previous gate, and weave through with ease. Keep your body position forward. Your elbows are bent. And when you're leaning the bike in one position, okay, you're leaning on that side. And when you're leaning on this side, you're leaning on over here where the clutch is, okay? So you're not leaning with the bike. We never do that at slow speeds. Do that all the way up. Do a U-turn at the end. Do it all the way back. And just keep working on it and working on it and working on it until you can do it brakeless. And when you can do it brakeless, you will be so happy with your clutch control and your ability to maneuver your motorcycle in tight spaces. You can thank me later.